Yep.
Damn, I'm bad. I'm bad at calculating our episodes, but everybody welcome in. Episode 27, Sports with Skiz. Crazy how many times we've done this already. We're getting switched over to college basketball as well too, so make sure you guys check along. But Knock, how's your day going, brother? How's the week?
Whew, you know what, dude? I'm just ready for the weekend. It's been a super long and just kind of, like one of those weeks that are just too tedious, just a little extra,
Mhm.
just a lot of bullshit. So we're looking forward to Friday night, man. Crack a beer, crack a cold one, you know.
Yeah, yeah, you and me both, you and me both. So, with that being said, man, we will jump right into it. Hopefully, we have some stragglers that join here in a few, but let me go ahead and get this going. Like I said, everybody, we are going to be doing this a little bit different today, but we are doing our week 11 games that we like, and we're kind of switching it up a little bit. Usually we do it where I do three, Tanaka does three, but we kind of got together today and talked a little bit about what games we liked all together and where we should go from there. So starting off, we're gonna kick it off here with one of the first games. This is actually tomorrow, Friday, 9 o'clock. We got Tulane heading to Memphis. Memphis -3.5. Over under is 54.5. This is a very, very important American Conference battle. Both teams are looking to try to get that at-large bid. Right now, I think Memphis has the upper hand with only having that one loss on the season. Tulane had a very, very poor performance last week against the University of Texas San Antonio. So, Knock, go ahead and kick it off if you want to. Let me know what your thoughts are on this game.
Yeah, definitely. Memphis is really good football, but Tulane, they're also good football. I really like their quarterback and what they've got going on. A tough loss to UTSA. I don't think anybody expected that. Tulane suffered a loss a couple of weeks ago. But with that being said, man, I really like them versus Memphis here this week. It's a little bit weird that the 3.5 is iffy. Memphis is a really good rushing football team, and I'm just trying to take a look here.
Yeah, Memphis, I think it's Brennan Smith is the quarterback there. He's pretty good through the air and rushing. I think he leads them in rushing. Their running back, Sutton Smith, I believe, is second. And they have one more guy that's really, really good. And their coach, Ryan Silverfield, I think is his name, his last name. I always get that mixed up. If you could check that, Knock. I can't have my paper up while I'm doing this, but I think it's Ryan Silverfield. He's in the line to get probably a power conference job next year. He's done amazing things at Memphis. He leads these guys the right way, and I think he's going to want to try to finish this season on a high note before he, moves elsewhere. I think a lot of people were talking about him maybe potentially taking over that Arkansas job and trying to turn them around. Funny enough, he did beat Arkansas at home this week, so I do think the home field advantage is something Memphis is going to be looking for. I think it's going to be a rowdy crowd down there as well too with that later kickoff.
Yeah, and Silverfield is wow, excuse me. Silverfield is the head coach for Memphis there. He's been the head coach since 2020 out of Jacksonville. Yeah, you know what? I'm really looking for a bigger game from Jake Retzlaff this week. 5 for 17 for 56 yards. This dude is much better than that. Granted, Ole Miss is a good football team. Um, Oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm really sorry. Hold on. We'll cut that. We'll cut that one out. No. Red Slap performed pretty perfor horribly.
Performed.
28, a buck 54, a touchdown, and two picks last week against UTSA. I was looking at the Ole Miss game. Excuse me. I had my information wrong, so I do apologize about that. Ideally, you want to take Memphis here to cover the spread. I mean, it's probably what's going to happen here. I do like the over 54.5. Both the offenses are explosive. Again, it's going to come down to the quarterback play for me for Tulane. Retzlaff, a surprising only 7 touchdown passes on the season, just 3 interceptions, but the offense looked a little bit better earlier uh, than later. So I'm gonna rock out here with Memphis or Tulane, excuse me, just to cover the 3.5. It doesn't make sense. That's why.
That's right. Yeah, Tanaka is going to be riding with the Tulane money line. You see that down there. Makes a lot of sense. Myself, I am going to be rocking out with Memphis -3.5. I just think that they got a lot to prove. They're slotted to be that favorite for that at-large bid to the playoff. It's at home. It's going to be a rowdy crowd on a Friday. You win this game, you party it up all weekend. I think that's going to be, a little bit of the edge. And I really, really like the balanced offense that Memphis has, especially that run game with Brendan Smith and Sutton Smith. I do apologize if I'm getting their names wrong, but there's something to be watching for. So moving on from this game, we're going to go to our next one. Again, two teams that we've talked about a lot here. We got, oh my God, BYU traveling down to Lubbock, Texas, taking on the Red Raiders. Texas Tech minus 10.5. Over under is 52.5. Knock, go ahead and kick us off with this game.
Yeah, I don't even know who I took in this game. Yeah, I do. Texas Tech. But just for me, it's just something has to give. As much as I really like BYU and Bear Bachmeyer and all that, I've spoken on how well coached they are and just disciplined and prepared, and it's just something that the BYU program always brings. Going on the road, Texas Tech, they need a win. They need a win. They can't suffer another loss. That's for sure. So I'm expecting a kind of a drastically big margin of victory there for Texas Tech. They're just BYU due for regression to have a poor game, and Texas Tech and they can run the football. They've got multiple running backs. They've got Baron Morton there, so they just a ton of offense for the Red Raiders. And I well 52.5. I'm not sure if I want to take the over under on that, but we are going to ride with Texas Tech here, and I'm going to take them to cover the spread.
That is right. Tanaka does have a money line and he'll take a minus the spread too. Yeah, it's interesting. This line, it kind of shocked me a little bit just with, BYU being undefeated. I know that they've had a couple of close games, but I don't know, man. I mean, when you show the resiliency that they've shown in a couple of, weeks in a row where they're clawing back, they're fighting back, they're winning in overtime. Bear Bachmeyer, the redshirt freshman, has just been unbelievable. We make fun of him a lot on here, or at least I do, for wearing number 47. I know Knock likes it, but also too, I didn't check to see, but Knock, I don't know if you could look it up while I'm talking a little bit, but LJ Martin, their running back, who is an absolute stud. I said it before, I'll say it again. He will be playing on Sundays. I know that he left a game with an injury. I do believe it was either last week or the week prior. I just want to make sure that he's playing. Texas Tech, I think they have a lot to prove. Beat they beat Kansas State pretty bad on the score sheet last week, but it wasn't as bad as what it showed. I think in the fourth quarter with about 4 or 5 minutes left, I want to say it was only like a 9 point ball game or something like that. And then I think Kansas State had a pick six, and then like I don't know, something else happened, but I think they ended up winning by 20 somehow, which was crazy. So they did cover in that game. Obviously, their quarterback coming back, he plays lights out. The defense is always good. But for some reason, Knock, I don't know what it is, brother. I'm leaning BYU plus 10.5. I think it's going to be close. I could see it being an ugly game, kind of like what you said with not knowing what you want to do with the over under. I really could see this game going under and being more around like a 20-24 ball game, 20-17, something where it's just going to be tough. Because I do think BYU's defense is pretty good as well too. I think another thing that helped me sway this way was the BYU throwback logo.
Yeah, by the way, LJ Martin is listed as probable for the game. BYU has a couple of injuries, but it's really nothing major. Most of their guys will play, except for, if I'm not mistaken, their starting defensive tackle, Anisi Purcell.
Mm,
I'm not sure if he's going to play or not. He's not out. So that's
okay.
so BYU's looking like they'll be all right. And a couple of injuries there for Texas Tech as well. Baron Morton, he is probable though. So
Mm,
with that being said, even with him being out, I think that their backup has gotten some reps this year.
you,
But
you
that's
you talk about that freshman,
yeah,
the one who came in against Utah?
yeah.
Yeah, he tore his ACL, brother. He's out for the year.
Did he?
Yeah. Not laughing. We don't make jokes about that. I've torn my ACL one too many times, but he's out for the rest of the year.
Okay, so Baron Morton not playing or potentially not being 100% can drastically change that. Okay.
Yeah, I don't, it's weird. I feel like he's been battling just an injury the whole year.
Yeah, that you know what, BYU plus 10.5 actually is more sense now. But you know what, we're still gonna ride out with the Red Raiders.
The Raiders. I did want to see, I saw something on Twitter. I don't have the names. Knock, if you could just search Texas Tech football barber on like Google or something. Um, I just wanted to give like a little prayer to him and I think it's his girlfriend or his wife. She was actually struck by a drunk driver back on October 17th, I think, and has been in the hospital fighting ever since that. I saw a cool story that a lot of BYU fans were donating to her GoFundMe. So that should be up there. If you guys are interested in seeing more of it, do exactly what I just told Naka. Just search up there, Texas Tech football barber, and the story will pop up. But just wanted to say thoughts and prayers with you and your family, brother. I know they have a young kid, but I think they've raised over $80,000 for their family. So that's awesome to hear. And it's always cool to see like a little story like that come together.
Absolutely, to the Ortiz family out there. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, moving on. We got another great matchup here. More of like a smaller matchup, one that's not really on a lot of people's radar, but we're sickos here, so it's definitely on ours. We got James Madison heading up to Huntington, West Virginia, I believe, where Marshall's located at. But anyways, JMU minus 13 and a half, over under 55 and a half. I do really like this game for a couple of reasons here. JMU is another team that's kind of looking to try to sneak into that at-large bid. I think they got more of an uphill battle to climb than, someone who we mentioned like Memphis or Tulane. But when you have a quarterback like Alonzo Barnett, he's someone who's proven. He's given that team a lot of great memories, I guess, from years past, but he's a great player. I really, really love him. And then another reason why I really like this game is Marshall is actually honoring the team that passed away in 1975. If you guys aren't familiar with that, Marshall had a plane crash, and the majority of their team and coaching staff was on it. It happened in 1975. So they're wearing on the sides of their helmet 75, and then up the stripe in the middle are going to be the names of the lives that were lost there. So it's a cool story. The uniforms look awesome. I could definitely see them coming out and playing with a little bit more passion for this game. But it's going to be interesting. Coach Chesney at JMU, he's another guy whose name is in the hat for a couple of these Power Five jobs. I know some people said that they couldn't see it, but keep an eye on that Penn State position. Something about it. I don't know. With Signetti taking that leap of faith, the last guy who came from JMU, I could see him being a hot name for that. If not, maybe somewhere along the lines of like Virginia Tech. But he's a pretty good coach, except for, I believe, in that week 2 game that I bet on them against Louisville, and he looked like he was throwing it. That's the only gripe I have with him.
Yeah, with everything that you mentioned about Marshall, I have no information on the team yet. I'm still going to take them to not just cover the spread, but I'm going to take them to win against James Madison as well. Uh, no, I mean seriously though. I mean, Alonzo Barnett. We know what James Madison as a program they've been built up to. I think it was that Louisville game, Mike, where James Madison, like their head coach, was just doing nothing.
Yeah, he looked like he was throwing the damn game. He went with the two quarterback system that didn't make
Matthew
any
Sluka.
sense.
That's right.
Oh, it fires me up.
If Matthew Sluka doesn't step on the field for James Madison, probably going to be a comfortable victory. But in reality, as good as a quarterback as Alonzo Barnett is, you just provide a little bit of pressure. If Marshall can come out firing, if they can come out hot with a little bit of energy and keep the first half close, I think that they have an opportunity to win the game.
Yeah, I could see that. I think the emotion's going to play in a sense too. But even though I say all that, I will be taking JMU minus the 13 and a half. Again, I think that they're just going to be a motivated team. They got a lot on the line here. And they've just been solid ever since they jumped up from the FCS level into the Sun Belt. I feel like they play with a chip on their shoulder, and it's only going to get better. They're renovating half the side of their stadium. It's going to increase attendance. Like they might look to, maybe make a move to another conference in the not near future, but probably, 10 years down the line. But Love JMU. Shout out to Marshall though. Like I said, if you guys haven't checked them out, go check out those uniforms that they're wearing. I think it's like a cool little salute to, again, I don't want to keep bringing up tragedies that happened, but a tragedy that did happen. So if you haven't even seen the movie too, make sure you go check out We Are Marshall. That came out whenever I think we were a little bit younger, but another great movie with Matthew McConaughey, I think, starred in that one, right?
Yep.
Look at that. We got not only ball knowledge, we got movie knowledge over here. But we will move on to another game. This is I think this one might be as sick as it gets just with how Iowa really plays. We got Oregon heading over to Iowa City, taking on the Iowa Hawkeyes. Oregon -6.5. Over under looks sick. 40.5. That reminds me of just an NFL type of over under. I'm not it's this one was a really tough game for me to pick. I'm not gonna lie to you, Knock. The one thing that really sticks out to me, and I'd be interested to see how you feel about it, is Gronowski. I was really excited for him coming over from South Dakota State in the offseason and just seeing how well he did passing the ball. And I get it's a step, almost like two steps up, I guess, from the FCS going to the Big Ten. But I want to say this dude only has like is it four touchdown passes, four interceptions with like 930 some yards? He could
Yes.
run the ball, but it's like I guess it must just be that Iowa offensive scheme. It's not even pro style. It's like 1960s football. It's so weird.
Yeah, he's only got a 50.5 QBR rating. That's
Ugh, I could
ninth
throw up.
country. You know what I mean? I am gonna take Iowa in this one, and it's just so weird because we've seen it. Iowa just has that culture of you think you're gonna walk into our place, catch a dub, easy, no problem, ranked team. No, it typically never works out like that. Not when Iowa's competitive. Anyway, last couple of years we've spoken on it. Iowa's offense is lackluster at best.
Yeah,
Few weeks they've definitely picked it up. You run the ball a little bit more. What's going on? What you laughing at? What's
me.
yeah.
No, I was laughing at what you said there about like running the
Oh,
ball and stuff like that, that their offense is lackluster, but I'm saying, yeah, the offense is lackluster for sure.
oh, right. Oh, right. Yeah. So, but over the past few weeks, they've completely changed and turned it around. You know what I mean? I don't think Oregon is gonna see what's happening or what's coming in that game. Obviously, we know what team has more talent. We know what team has a better football coach. Oregon -6.5. It just seems a little too easy to me. Give me the Hawkeyes at home.
Yeah, I see shout out to you, Twan, either a trap or what is that? The dumbest line I've ever seen. Yeah, I think it's the dumbest line I've ever seen because I'm riding out with Oregon -6.5. I will say the one thing that does scare me is Iowa's defense is pretty good too. They're the reason why they are in a lot of these games. The over under is weird. If Oregon gets cooking, I could see them getting this over under by themselves, but they have been a little bit shaky in the past couple of games. One was against Wisconsin. The weather kind of sucked, but I mean, we saw it. If you could get after Deontay or Dante Moore, excuse me, like I would or Indiana did, my God, my brain's all over the place. Then he's going to make mistakes, but if this Oregon team comes out and they play like they did at Penn State, and I get it, Penn State sucks now. They haven't beat a power conference team yet. It's November 6th. What are we doing? That was still a tough game. I think that really just deflated Penn State and took them down to what they are now for the most part. But it's going to be interesting. I mean, Iowa City too, they do have like a great atmosphere for football. Like they're on top of you. There's maybe 3 yards in between where the fans sit and where the players bench is. So that could rattle a team that isn't used to that.
Yeah, man.
So
I don't like that it's a 3:30 game though. I will say this: I kind of wish Iowa was playing at 7 o'clock. I
yeah.
think that's where they can truly maximize their 12th man, that home field advantage. But I'm riding with the Hawkeyes, man. Got to.
I like it. I like it. I could see them winning this game outright as well too, or at least covering. But I got to put my faith in Dan Lanning, man. Again, if you haven't went and seen that if you haven't went and seen each week, whenever they win, they release a video that it basically leads up to their game. They show game highlights. They cut back to the preparation they were talking about. Please go watch that one when they took on Penn State. If you don't get chills, you're not alive. And especially if you played football in the past and you don't get chills and want to run through a fucking wall, I don't understand what will make you do that. So shout out Dan Lanning. That's my guy. I'm rocking out with the Oregon Ducks here, but I do think it will be a hostile environment there in Iowa City.
Yeah, very good chance I go 0 for 6 this week, guys. Very good chance I go 0 for 6.
Like Fordham, right?
Like, oh my gosh, Fordham, West Virginia is over. Oregon to cover.
I told you about West
Oh,
Virginia, not to switch up here, but I told you about West Virginia and how Mount St. Mary's. But it was funny. I was telling my wife, I think it was yesterday, about your Fordham breakdown about how you had so much in-depth stuff. And then they lost outright, which hey, I'm wrong as well too a lot. That one was just so funny.
that was
That one
bad,
was
bro. That was
crazy.
bad. That was plus 1,000. NJIT was plus 1,000 on the money line.
And they won by like 9.
Bro, they beat the shit out of them, bro. I watched that game. Fordham had no idea what was going on out there, bro. No.
Ah, crazy, bro.
NJIT
Crazy.
13 combined wins, but respect to them. They kept their whole team and they're like, let's do it one more time. So let's run it
Hell
back.
yeah. Brainiacs, the Ivy League of New Jersey,
Right.
minus Princeton. But let's move on to another 3:30 kickoff here. I really, really like this game. We got Texas A&M traveling to Mizzou. Texas A&M minus 6.5. Over under is another really low one. Could be one for the NFL, 47.5. Knock, if you want to kick us off with this one, I feel like I've been taking the majority of the starts here.
Missouri money line.
Oh, wow, easy.
Oh, no. Again, it's just too weird. I mean, Texas A&M is just the obvious favorite here, in my opinion. There's really nothing spectacular about Missouri's offense. Um, they had a running back at the beginning of the year. I don't really hear too much about right now. He was a transfer, Ahmad something or other. I can't off the top of my head because it's just Bo Prabula, Bo Prabula, Bo Prabula. Um,
Hey, who's hurt? Who's not even going to be playing?
oh, nice.
You
So
didn't, bro, you don't remember that? He like snapped his ankle.
Ahmad Hardy, yeah. So they'll be going in with a backup quarterback, and the spread is only 6.5. Texas A&M clearly much better. I don't really understand why the line is so low, and for that reason, I'm going to be taking Missouri. I don't care who's at quarterback for them.
Yeah, they got a, true freshman quarterback actually from PA. He went to Spring Ford. He was a highly touted recruit, I believe. So shout out to him. We support Pennsylvania ball players, in the league, in college, whatever it may be. But I will not be backing him up this week. I am going to be going with the Yell leaders and Texas A&M. Texas A&M minus 6.5. Like you said, this line again, it's similar to that Oregon and Iowa one. It just doesn't make sense to me. I think Texas A&M is just a team that's on a mission. They're playing really, really well. I love Marcellus Reed. I love the wide receivers that they have there with Casey Concepcion. He's so fast. He is so fun to watch play the game. And another team that I think has just shown a lot of resilience. They played some close football games there, like against Florida. That one kind of came down to the wire. I think they were in a shootout with, I don't know if it was Mississippi State. I can't remember the team off the top of my head. Sorry, guys. I can't look at my notes here since we're doing these very high-tech animations here. But yeah, there's just something about Texas A&M. It's their best team in years that I feel like wasn't getting the hype that they once did whenever Jimbo Fisher was there. I don't know if you remember. It's like, oh, Jimbo Fisher, Texas A&M, they got the #1 overall recruiting class, and then by week 4, they were out of playoff contention. So I just think something's different down there. As much as I hate the Yell leaders, as much as I think that shit is weird, I will be riding out with Texas A&M.
Okay,
Do you know
I like
fun fact here, Knock, before do you know why they have Yell leaders?
no.
Well, it was once a all male college. So
Okay,
I believe that's where it started, and it's just continued, and that's where they do the weird Texas A&M. That's why I'm always saying that.
gotcha.
Yeah.
All
Go
mill.
ahead though. I didn't mean
That
to
I
cut
had
you off.
no idea. That's would have sucked back in the day.
Yeah, yeah. It's I mean, and Texas A&M, they got so much fucking money down there, especially with oil and shit. Put it into your program. What else are you gonna spend it on, huh? Do what Texas Tech is doing, and it's paying off. So, yeah. Shout out to Texas A&M. This should be a good one. The over under is weird to me. I feel like I would lean the over just with it being so low, but I feel like that's where it's like, gotcha, bitch. Dave Chappelle, and the under hits in flying colors. But I digress. Let's move on to another SEC matchup here. We got LSU traveling to Tuscaloosa. Bama -9.5. Another weird over under at 49.5. Keep it simple. I mean, Bama is just playing lights out right now, and LSU is lost, I guess, essentially. They're just a team that has underachieved this season, even in their wins. They still look terrible. You had Brian Kelly coming in after wins and getting one question about the run game, and he flipped on reporters, and it just seemed like everything was weird where they got rid of him. He's not there anymore. Thank God. I knew that that was not going to work out from the time that they hired him. And Kalen DeBoer is just pulling on the heartstrings again of all those Alabama fans down there with the 10 teeth and the cross-eyes and can't read a book. But, if they win the lottery, they wanted him out at one time this year, but he's turned that team around.
There is nothing, and I mean nothing, that I like about LSU. You know, the nerve of social media. They wanted to make those three fucking brothers like they were these tough guys, like they were these like they were
Hey, I
these
do like the weeks. I do like the
they were
weeks.
these badass dudes. My guy can't run around for 5 minutes without throwing up in the huddle. No, I'm sorry. They're soft. There's all three of those guys are soft. I hope Lane Kiffin's daughter got out on him for some bullshit or gave him some STD. Some
Oh my God.
no, 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 no. Oh my God. Look, honestly, not a single thing I like about LSU, and it's really kind of weird because I've been taking teams that I don't like all episode. You know what I mean? I just can't. I have such a bad bias towards LSU. Uh, that means take LSU to cover 9.5, but I'm rocking out with Bama -9.5. Um, I have to. They're just don't like them. Nothing about them. Don't like them.
Yeah, Garrett Nussmeier, although he did perform very well against Vandy in a loss where he just could not stay off the ground, his offensive line was just letting him get beat to hell and back. Um, he's been very underwhelming this year, so I am going to be siding with you, Knock. I'm going to be on Alabama -9.5. Ty Simpson just continues. I don't understand it, but we're at week 11, and I feel like he just continues to get better. Ryan Williams looks very, very good. Their defense looks outstanding now that they got all their pieces back, especially in that front seven that they got there. So, Kalen DeBoer, again, he was on the hot seat after week one, and it's crazy the flip flop that happened between Alabama and where they're at now and Florida State and where they're at now. It was like they just completely flipped. Garrett Nussmeier is the quarterback for LSU, I believe, unless he's hurt. I didn't see any news on
I
that.
didn't see anything about him being hurt. I just checked the comment out too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think it's still Garrett Nussmeier, Twan. But I don't know. It's not gonna be easy to find the run game. They haven't been able to find it all year. So it's basically like they're gonna just rely on him, and that offensive line just doesn't do it for me at all. So, all right, moving on. Last game that we're going to talk about here, we got Nebraska traveling to Los Angeles, California, taking on UCLA. UCLA -2.5, over under 43.5. I didn't really notice this until now. All of these over unders are disgusting to me. I don't know if it's just me. It's disgusting to me. But go ahead, Knock. You kick us off with this one.
I love LA. And I do, and I love UCLA to win this matchup. I think this is very, very plausible. I think it's easy for me. I think that over the past few weeks, they're a completely different ball club than what they were with, who was their head coach to start the season? Deshaun Foster.
Yep.
My
Yep.
goodness, Deshaun Foster. Yeah, I'm sorry. Eddie George, I like you, but I'm just, Bowling Green played like shit last week. No, no running back should be a head coach. Okay, let's just get no running back should ever just flat out be a head coach. All you do is hit holes. That's it. That's it. All right, it's all you need to know. No running back should be the head coach of any football team. Um, that's just my bias. I'm taking UCLA money line. Nebraska can't win a big game with their starting quarterback. He's done for the year. Hope he gets better for next season because I just love watching, you know, Patrick Mahomes, and I just love watching the guy two times. You know what I mean? So get better, Dylan Raiola. Hope you feel good next year. Hope you know what I mean? Jeez, my goodness. I can't. I like them coming into the year. It's a little too much at this point. They can't win, Mike. They can't win. Give me UCLA.
Yeah, it sucks what happened to Dylan Raiola. Shout out to you, brother. Get well for next year. But yeah, I don't even really know who their backup quarterback is right now. And kind of similar to what you said, it's so funny how Matt Rule really just is starting to remind me of James Franklin just in big games. Like he cannot win it. It's weird that he had such great success. I guess it's not weird because at Temple, they didn't really play anybody that was ranked. I think he was he there whenever they beat did they beat Notre Dame or they beat Penn State one of those years in like 2016? It was like weird. I think Notre Dame went to Lincoln Financial Field and I think Temple upset them. I want to say that was Matt Rule's second or third year there before he left to go to Baylor.
Is that 2015 Temple team?
Is that might have been who it was, but that's like the only big win that I remember from him. And with that being said, I also am going to be on UCLA. I'm going to take them minus 2.5. Although I'm not the biggest fan of Nico, I've talked about it before, just the way that he kind of I guess you could call it quit on Tennessee. I'm not a big fan of that. Might be the offensive lineman in me with the loyalty, but he has been playing really, really well. UCLA does look like they turned a new leaf ever since Deshaun Foster got shit canned, and it just looks like they're on the up and up there. I mean, they got a lot of swagger. The OC Jerry Newhouser is just in love with that university, and it looks like the guys want to play for him. So I will be also on UCLA minus 2.5. And not for nothing, too, teams that are traveling to the West Coast, I feel like sometimes they could get caught up in that. I know Nebraska isn't too far off on the time zone, but it is what it is. Say la vie. I think that's a talking point that doesn't get brought up too much.
Yeah, agreed, man. I'm just not a Matt Rule guy. And you know what the thing is? We talk about Matt Rule not being able to win the big game. These aren't even big games. These are like mid games. Like they're like kind of
Hmm.
big because it's Nebraska. You know what I mean? They're like kind of tough. It's not like
Right.
at Nebraska out here, and Nebraska, is going to play Texas in a rivalry game, and they're both going to be ranked inside the top 10, like how they were when we were growing up in the Big 12 kind of deal. You know what I mean? So, this guy just another one. Get him out of there. Just it's
Yeah.
time for a new regime at the head coaching position in college football.
Yeah, it definitely is. Um I was mistaken. Notre Dame beat Temple in 2015. It might have been Penn State. They beat Penn State in
And Temple beat
2015.
somebody.
Yes, they beat Penn State in 2015. That was the first game of the year. They beat them 27-10. Matt Rule was the head coach there. I know ball. I figured out it was one of those teams. But Penn State was not ranked, so that doesn't go towards his thing. I want to say he's like 0-8 at Nebraska, and he's like has 2 wins overall in his coaching career. I think they all came at Baylor, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think Temple was playing in too many ranked matchups against their opponents there in the American Conference or whatever they may have been at back in 2015. But um, yeah, that's all for the new highlighted, very technically sound PowerPoint presentation that we're going to be doing here from here on out. I think that was a cool little switch up. I had fun putting that stuff together. Obviously, as we get more technologically advanced, we will start switching some things up here. But let me go ahead and check out some other stuff for some of these other games, if we want to talk over some quick hits, knock. I don't know if you have any pulled up that you're liking at all.
Yeah, I like South Florida to cover the spread versus Texas San Antonio. South Florida needs I don't know if their season is over because it's not over, but I don't know if they're quite in contention anymore to make the playoff. Texas San Antonio had that major win last week, so versus Tulane. So I like South Florida to cover there. This is also super weird. Houston and Central Florida are exactly even, and Connor Wigman's playing. I don't know who's out for Houston, how they can go. I know they suffered a terrible, terrible loss to West Virginia last week, but my gosh, Central Florida is terrible. So for them to be exactly at even money, uh, I don't know, man. That's a Friday night game too. I mean, I'm gonna take Houston because I just there's nothing about Central Florida that I like.
Yeah,
Central Florida's
yeah.
gonna pull off that I call that an upset, even though it's a toss up ball.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. That line doesn't make sense. I looked at that earlier today, and I think it was at the same of 1.5. Um, so I would be with you siding on Houston there. Also would side with you on South Florida. I do also like App State -5.5 at home against Georgia Southern. A night game there is awesome, and I don't think Georgia Southern, excuse me, is all that good. So we shall see that. One of those lines that looks a little bit juicy to me is Ohio State -30.5. I think I would side with that if I'm taking anything here. Purdue is just, I don't know. Purdue is Purdue. I don't really fear them or think that they should instill any fear into anybody else at this point. And one other game that's kind of weird to me, I know they're traveling from Dallas up to Boston College, but SMU -11.5. I kind of like that. If you could get it down for good value to 9.5, I like that even more.
Yeah, another game I like. Finally, West Virginia is a favorite, a -6.5 point favorite. That should tell you how bad Colorado is. That team is so, so bad. I mean, they're both super, super terrible. But for Colorado to be a 7 point underdog versus a West Virginia team that is horrendous, should
Yeah.
speak volumes about how bad they are themselves. Give me West Virginia to cover the spread.
What is Twan? What are you talking about? Are you in the right chat? I mean, we see it. We've only seen that you sent three messages here. Uh, but yeah, I think you're in the right chat. You're talking to it. But yeah, knock. That was a game that I looked at and saw too. It's just like it's so disgusting. Both of those teams suck. It's on TNT and HBO Max, which is crazy to see that they're hosting games. Um, and I want to see, is there anything else that I'm liking here? I think a sneaky decent game, I think this week could be Wake Forest traveling to Virginia. Virginia is at the top of the ACC. They're 5-0, which is very hilarious because they lost to NC State, but their schedule is out of conference for that game this year and next year. So I think that they had a cancellation and couldn't find other teams to step up to play in that. So they said, hey, you know what? We're both in the ACC, but don't tell anybody. We'll schedule it as an out of conference. So um, that'll be interesting. The line is kind of weird to me just because Wake Forest got their teeth kicked in against Florida State last week, and it's only -6.5 for Virginia. So I want to side with Virginia -6.5, but with I would be good with Wake Forest winning, obviously being the pit homer that I am.
I mean, if Wake Forest pulls off that upset, hats off to you. I mean, Virginia's due. They're due. They're finding ways, and that's what I love about them. They're finding ways to close and win games. Um, but I don't see it with Wake Forest, to be honest with you. I just am probably going to be wrong on that, but I don't like Wake Forest at all this year. I try to like Wake Forest. I feel like back in the day, Wake Forest was like never really good, but they always had like a decent offense about them, and I don't even think they have that going for them. So.
Yeah, the best team that I remember for them, besides whenever Pitt beat the shit out of them in the ACC championship a couple years ago, was the team that went to the Orange Bowl and they had that linebacker number 5. They actually made a movie about him. I think his sister was like sick or something, and instead of throwing up fours in the fourth quarter, they threw up 5, and I think it was for her. I can't remember exactly what his name was, but if you're interested, search that up. Twan, we are going to be doing college basketball. We're kind of working on a schedule on what would work right now, just because we still have college football, and that's kind of like our bread and butter right now. So we're trying to figure that out. We did release one episode already. There might be an instance where we hop on here and just kind of go through a couple of games that we like and talk about it, but that's something that's in the works right now. So hopefully, pretty soon we'll get this ironed out right now. Jumping down to the FCS level, North Dakota State travels to in-state rival North Dakota. That's a 1 versus 15 matchup, so that should be pretty good. South Dakota State looking to bounce back. They also head to their in-state rival. South Dakota, that's a 9 versus 25 matchup. Mercer, number 10 in the nation, traveling to number 24, Western Carolina. We have number 14, Southeastern Louisiana, traveling to number 18, Lamar, down there in Texas. And then we have number 16, Southern Illinois, traveling to the number 22, Youngstown State. I like Youngstown State in that game. They played North Dakota State, the toughest that anybody has this whole season. So give me the Penguins. Do a little waddle there.
What's the deal with Abilene Christian? Why do they have 4 losses and are in a top 25? Did they play? Did they lose to 4 of the best?
They upset no they upset who the team that was previously number 2 last week, Turleton State, who beat Army, as you could tell, 31-28. So I think that they have some decent wins. It's weird. It's weird at that level because some of these teams play against like 2, sometimes 3 FBS opponents. So their schedule or their Jesus, their record looks a lot worse than what it actually is. But let me pull it up here and take a look and see. I want to say that they're also they're in the United Athletic Conference. I thought they were in the Southland Conference, but let me take a look and see because that is pretty interesting. They lost to Tulsa. They beat they beat one, two, three, four. They beat 4 ranked teams this year, and they lost to TCU and they lost to Tulsa. And then they also lost to then ranked Incarnate Word, who is now terrible. But they have ranked wins over Tarleton State. I always mess that up. West Georgia, Austin P, and Stephen F. Austin.
Okay.
So they have some good wins. They should beat the shit out of Utah Tech this upcoming week. Utah Tech stinks.
Yeah, shout out Tennessee Tech, sitting at
Yes.
5-9-0. We just interviewed their athletic director, our guy
Hmm.
Casey. So Tennessee Tech, do they play Kentucky this week or next week?
I want to say it's in 3 weeks. I think they have a bye this week. Then they play against North Alabama. And then I want to say they travel to Lexington, Kentucky, to play them. But yeah, shout out to Tennessee Tech. Hopefully, we get down there this year to catch a basketball game. That would be real sick. Shout out Lehigh. Bread and butter of Division 1 AA NPA. They're ranked number 4 in the nation. They host Holy Cross this week, so hopefully they get it done. Kutztown. Moving down to D2, we got to show love to Kutztown, ranked 4th in the country. They beat the dog shit out of East Stroudsburg last weekend, 49-6. They go on the road to Bloomsburg. That's a pretty big rivalry game in a sense. They're not too far away from each other. Taking a look at other ranked matchups, 9-0, Augustina, South Dakota. They are hosting number 16, Minnesota State. That should be a very big game. 9-0, number 9 in the country, Findlay. They are traveling to number 15, Ashland, Ohio. Ashland, Ohio, if you guys remember listening to our shows here, they beat IUP week 1. IUP is a close friend of ours, and Slippery Rock is back up to number 20 in the nation for Division 2. And I want to say, we're getting close to the playoffs here. I want to say that there's only 1 or 2 games left for Division 2 before they start heading into the playoffs because their bracket is a little bit crazy. But looking at the regional rankings, I'm just going to go over one that carries the PSAC since we're close to it. But it looks like Kutztown sitting at number 1, Indiana number 5, California number 6, and Slippery Rock number 7. I do believe the top 8 teams get in to those to the playoffs if they finish in there. So we're looking for a strong finish from those PSAC schools.
Yeah, apparently there's a yeah a new bracket, or I don't
Is
know.
it a
I was a
is it a projected?
couple of years ago, yeah, for the new bracket for the Division 2, but
Hmm.
yeah, like you said, the top eight.
Yeah, they're yeah. So it looks like they'll get what was that, four PSAC schools, and then a couple other from the division. I can't remember what the conference is, but it's one, and I think it's majority in West Virginia. But shout out to the PSAC, we love them. Knock, anything else before we end this here?
No, just let me take a look over some of these games here that I got on my phone. Oh, UConn versus Duke. Somebody watch out
Mm,
for UConn. Quarterback Joe.
just let it out. Just let it out.
Back Joe Fagnano, 22 touchdowns, no interceptions. Why is nobody talking about this guy? 22 touchdowns, no interceptions. That's absurd.
It's because
Um,
no one loves UConn anymore. If they were in the Big East, that dude would be
yes,
talked about.
yes. You know what? I'll never forgive whoever dismantled the Big East. But you know, hope it's a rough one for you. Anyway, anyway, yeah, no, but you know what? UConn has a couple of guys on that team that just aren't spoken about enough. So I don't know, man. I might like them covering 9.5 against Duke. Duke just their offense was spectacular last week versus Clemson. I think UConn might be able to slow that down a little bit, and UConn is home, so I do like UConn. Um, Miami bounces back against Syracuse. Syracuse is they're just they fucking suck. They're horrible.
Yeah, they're terrible.
Um, let's see. So Stanford. Stanford's gonna go in there and beat North Carolina. I know we don't really like Stanford or their quarterback Mike, but I mean, I'm not sold because North Carolina had one good win versus a terrible Syracuse team. I'll take Stanford to beat Syracuse. So yes, I like Stanford to going in to at least cover the 7.
Yeah, that game I saw and I kind of just stayed away. I was like, this is something that I don't even know what channel. It's probably ACC Network. It should be on
FX.
Nickelodeon or Cartoon
Put it on
Nickelodeon.
FX one day.
Nah, Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network, the way that those two teams have been playing this year. Shout out to Cam Edwards, though. You talked about UConn. He's their leading rusher right now, 144 carries, 815 yards, 9 tuds, averaging 5.7. I think they messed up his I think they messed up like his photo on ESPN. He kind of got a little Fetty Wap action going there. I don't think he's missing an eye, but he's been running very, very well. He's gonna break his own record from last year for 830 yards rushing. Um, but yeah, that kind of does it for me. I don't really have anything else to talk about. Like we said, we will be adjusting and doing a little bit of stuff with college basketball. If you guys are interested and want us to go live for those shows, we could do so. Have a little bit more interaction with you guys, especially you, Twan, if you're going to be tuning in, brother. But yeah, we really appreciate everybody who did tune in here and loves talking ball like us or listening, whatever it may be. We really, really do appreciate you. We're starting to expand more. Like we said, we're on Apple Podcast, we're on Spotify. We have our show obviously here on YouTube, and we're on all platforms. So tell a friend to tell a friend to go shoot us a follow, like, subscribe, whatever it may be. We really, really do appreciate all the love and support.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Twan, you already know, brother, how much we love you. But for anybody else that hops into the chat, man, and drops a comment, spends a couple of minutes with us, we always appreciate that, So more content coming throughout the weekend, and I might go live this Saturday for college football. I should have did that last week. I might go, I might mess around and do that an hour or two before kickoff. So, yeah, by all means, thank you guys again.
Yeah, appreciate it. And one last thing, I hate ending on like a sour note here, but I feel like we'd kind of be disrespectful not to mention it. But rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon, passed away late last night, I believe. I'm not going to go into details. If you want to look that up, you could do it yourself. But Just sad, 24 years old, was drafted in the second round out of Western Michigan. Just literally recovered a punt for a touchdown on Monday Night Football. Just goes to show you, you never know what someone's battling. You never know what someone's going through, especially, in November. It's Men's Mental Health Month. I know that that's something that's big for me. So just make sure you reach out to your people, check on them, make sure that they're good. Tell your boys you love them. I know that that's soft, some people think, but I don't think so at all, man. But rest in peace to Marshawn Nealon, and prayers to his family and everybody that's affected by it. All right. We'll talk to you guys soon.
Make sure because I gotta get off to YouTube.